Hey guys, welcome to podcast 1 of Athlete Things that Sam and I are going to start touching on. We're just going to go over things, the 1% things that we go through ourselves, and also probably try and get some more guests on as well that compete through the sport, and then just touch on things the little things that people don't really consider doing that make a huge difference in your training and just like being an athlete in general in powerlifting.
Yeah, so just want to basically put our coach's brain aside for a little bit and talk a bit more like athletes and powerlifting competitors, and get some future competitors on the podcast, talk about their experiences through a comp prep, what they go through, and just get that kind of deeper look into the minds of powerlifters and what we do,
Yeah, for sure. And the little things, like I know we've spoken about it before, little motivational things that we go through to push ourselves, to be sort of at a high level all the time. Yeah. Which has been more predominant in the past, most recent rather, than it used to be, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. I think I myself have definitely taken powerlifting a lot more seriously within 1 to 2 years.
Yep.
Part of that, realizing, I'm getting closer and closer to some long-term goals and, realizing my potential a little bit more. So that's kind of firing me up even more with my own training, and it's, pushed me to take it a lot more seriously than what I have in the past.
Yeah, for sure. Well, looking at yourself now, you're going to be the 120 that everyone's chasing now. That used to be Cam. Yeah. And, probably still would be if he's competing, but that's going to be you. Yeah. So you're at the top of the game now. Yeah. So there's things that obviously we should be talking about just to get it out there for the younger generations as well, to be able to consider, so they can start to do what we've adopted at later on in our career. They can start now, because I think Australia in general we have a really good young group of powerlifters coming through that can really start to leave a mark. Yeah, for sure. Look at junior nationals, in the next 3 weeks, whenever it is. That's going to be freaking battles galore across heaps of weight classes. So there's definitely a big wave of that younger generation coming through, and it's definitely exciting for Australian powerlifting. Yeah. Over the next 5-10 years. Yeah, and I think the fact too that some of these juniors are they're gonna almost beat what the Opens put up in some of the weight classes. Yeah, I remember when we had that Open day at Perth, and I said to Kelly, I think it was, I was just thinking they were my age, and then she's like, no, they're fucking 19. And I was like, holy shit. I wish I was fucking lifting what they're doing at 19, 20 years old. Yeah, it's pretty crazy right now. It's good. It's good for the future of powerlifting in Australia, to be honest. But I guess, if we touch on the little things, that we do ourselves, I guess, sleep, nutrition, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Making sure we're ready for every training session. Yeah. Just physically and mentally. Yeah. I think mentally is a big part that people don't talk about. Just the little things that you and I do. I know we have different methods in the way that we go about things. Yeah. But we get the same results to be able to perform on each particular day in the manner that we want. Yeah. Sorting out the schedule and your life schedule and organising your sleep around that has been a big thing for me. Yeah. Over the last 6 months, just planning your life out so you can recover enough session to session, week to week, mainly through sleep has been the big one. Yeah, sleep is huge. Yeah, prioritising that 7-8 hours a night, and then I think I said to you the other day, if you have that sleep debt where you have had a few shitty nights of sleep in a row, make sure you're catching up on the weekends or through naps. Naps. 20-30 minute power naps. 10 and 2 in the afternoon, clockwork. Yeah. Just to keep that recovery going. I think we both have our little naps when we try to. Yeah. But yeah, it's also setting up your schedule around powerlifting kind of thing. I know I do. Yeah. Just because we are taking it serious, we're allowed to. So we kind of set our sleep up in a way that we make sure that we get an adequate amount of sleep every single night if it's possible. So it's not always going to be possible. It's going to be things that happen as well. But if we're setting everything up around that, then you're going to be able to, perform better each day.
Yeah.
And week to week, which is just going to have a compounding effect to be able for you to get stronger. And then we look at nutrition as well, and that's the same. Like we're basing our nutrition around our training, consuming adequate amount of protein, fueling our sessions through carbs, and just in general,
timing caffeine and stimulants and pre-workouts, so you're peaking out
like
at that right time.
Were you peaking out right now?
Yeah. Sipping a Monster doing this podcast.
So I guess for you, like you've spoken before about how you'll time your caffeine on your heavy deadlift session.
Yeah, so
at the end of the session.
on Tuesdays I have like a secondary primary day bench, like a bench single at 8 before I deadlift. Now for that session, while I'm benching first, the deadlift is the priority for that session, and it's obviously one of the lifts I enjoy the most. So I'll have normally I typically have some pre-workout kind of cereal, like a pre-train kind of meal, 45 minutes before I train. I generally find I'll have that closer to benching. So by the time I hit deadlifts and then the rest of that session, all my accessories, I just feel a little bit more fueled. And same thing with caffeine. So instead of having pre-workout before bench, I'll have it just before I deadlift, or just as I'm finishing bench press. So by the time deadlift hits, I'm hitting that top set.
Yeah, you're in the high level of arousals.
Yeah, ready and raring to go. So just little things like that you might not consider. Yeah,
well, anyone thinks you're going into a session, I'm just going to have my pre-workout or my caffeine before I get into it, any sort of stimulants, and then get into the session where it's when your main stuff or what your sessions prioritize around that day is actually towards the end. You would rather have more energy then rather than at the start. So that's a very small thing I know would consider as well. The fact that you're timing when you're taking your caffeine based around the fact that you've got something to do before you actually get to that.
And also it's actually part of it's getting used to benching on a little bit less kind of arousal, a little bit less stimulants. Because obviously in a comp, I normally have pre-workout before squats and then top up before deadlift, so it's a good chance to get used to being a little bit more chill and calm whilst benching. So I'm not relying on 300-400 milligrams of caffeine to get up for a bench single,
Yeah, that is true. In competition, bench is completely different to I say it a lot, but we obviously hold ourselves to a high standard here in training, with our calls on every single rep that we do almost, and just making sure there's a competition standard. But there's still the people that are doing the calls for us on a competition day are not people that we're used to. So that's a different variable that we have to consider all the time. It's literally someone you've never had give you a press call is now standing behind you telling you when to start press and rep. So if you're overstimulated there, it's probably not the best thing. For myself on competition day, I have pre-workout as soon as I'm getting ready to warm up. I kind of just get into it there, and then I sip on it for the rest of the day. Just to keep that flow. That's just a way that I did last year. I started doing that, and it's just worked really well since then.
Nice.
I keep a steady level the whole day rather than have spikes up and down. Or be oh fuck, I'm starting to feel tired. I need a jam pre-workout and dry scoop it or something to try to do something to get into my system as fast as I can. And I'm just sipping on it. I have 3 fucking drinks that I have with me on competition day.
Yeah, it's definitely good to get used to training at that kind of lesser level of stimulant and arousal from caffeine and pre-workout supplements for sure, because you can become too reliant on it.
I guess there's a lot of things that hydration is so fucking big too. Ourselves I won't touch a barbell in training until I've drank at least 2 liters of water.
I noticed that yesterday when you walked in, you forgot your bot, and you were fuck, where's my water bottle?
And I had to run over the road and get water, and I will not start training.
And then I literally saw you have that liter and a half before you start warming up.
I will not touch a bar until I know that I've had enough water and I'm hydrated, because I just know that it adds. It may be very minimal, but there's a compounding effect on that.
It's that 5-10% of tide feeling you can get if you're not hydrated. You just know there's something missing, and you go fuck. I've drunk fuck all the water today.
And if you notice that sometimes if you haven't drank much water and you start sculling water, you start to feel like better almost instantly.
Yeah.
Just like, oh shit, I feel really good now.
Yeah, for sure.
Like water's good.
Yeah. So what else do you do with your food and nutrition then? So you obviously track. We've been with Brian.
Yeah, I track.
Yeah.
I track. I've been tracking for a long time. You know, I go through periods where we're kind of just like onto it, and I'm just like focusing on like my weight. I know my protein intake's sufficient enough, and I know that I base a lot of my intake around training. Like I've always have carbohydrates on hand while I'm training through liquids.
Yeah.
And then the rest is just like making sure, you know, as I said, my protein intake's good.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously, you don't want to do it every single day. Like I've spoken with Brian myself about this. It's like I like to have days where I'm just not tracking.
Yeah.
I'll take a step back, and that just means that every other day I'm still there. I'm doing it again. But I'm at a point now where it's like I know exactly what I'm eating anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I haven't been tracking like the last 3 or 4 weeks, but I find like I'm still weighing the same foods that I would normally typically eat, because I eat the same thing Monday to Friday mostly anyway.
Yeah, that's like when you weighed your Nutrigrain the other day.
Yeah.
But you're not actually tracking it.
So I'm not tracking, but I just know I've got this like mental log of how much food I normally have throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I still weigh it and still eat the same thing. And then that's when you see, you know, your weight staying at the same point, and you're still feeling good each session, but you're not tracking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess like that's a big thing about working with someone with nutrition is they're going to educate you, and you're going to learn more as you're going as well. So.
Oh, it's been massive.
Yeah.
Working with Brian and learning how to track food has been huge. Mainly on that note, like being able to like intuitively eat.
Yeah.
And just educate myself around food and what's in what.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess if we touch on the fact about like treating every single training session, no matter where you are in regards to a competition, should always be treated like you are, I guess, a competition prep, because we all know that people like to, you know, change gears or put the foot on the gas a bit more as they go into a prep.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, if you started doing that, you know, 15 weeks prior to your actual prep
you'd be in a way better spot.
Yeah. You'd literally be in a better spot.
Yeah.
You'd be stronger, you'd feel better.
Yeah.
You'd be, you know, you're going to end up stronger on the platform from what you did preceding the blocks before that, rather than just like, you know, going through the motions and then being like, oh, I better heat up now because fucking I'm about to get on the platform.
Yeah, it's that classic like 4 weeks out, time to heat training up, or like it should be heating up the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
There's obviously always that extra bit of like excitement around training when you do have that competition though, and that does definitely fuel a bit more kind of motivation for your sessions, but you've definitely got to find that motivation somewhere else when you're so far out from a comp. You know, you can't just be getting fired up because you've got a comp in 4 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, and I think like looking at yourself, like your training, a big thing probably that is like you just recently working towards, you know, that 300 kilo squat double, that 350 kilo deadlift. Like these little goals that you're setting on the way before you even get into a competition prep are what's going to lead you to have a fucking phenomenal prep. Like you're there, like you've just had like 2 of the best blocks that you've probably had in your whole life.
Yeah, literally 10 weeks of training, that was like the best ever.
Yeah.
In terms of like numbers hit, but also just momentum. Every session was like hit with intensity. I felt good, and it was definitely in a good spot.
Yeah, you can see it like as you're training. You're like, and anyone would think like, God, he's about to get on the platform. So, but no, we're still 10 weeks out. You were 20 weeks out when you started those last 2 blocks.
Yeah, that's a long time. Or a lot of people would see that as a long time far from a comp where they're probably just cruising and chilling. Whereas that's where you can make the most amount of progress. Yeah,
now you're going to go into like that peaking phase, this transition into that peaking phase at the strongest you've ever been, and you're like ready to go.
And just confidence too, like I've hit a 350 deadlift from training now, you know, doubled 300. So the next 10 weeks is fucking easy. You know?
Okay, so we'll take 10 weeks before the main 10 weeks.
Yeah. I say easy lightly, but it just gives you that confidence for when you're moving forward into that peaking block.
Yeah, well now you're like because you've taken this, you know, those 2 mesocycles so seriously.
Yeah.
And you've, you know, made so much progression.
Yeah.
You're now going into where you probably were hoping to end up.
Literally. Yeah. Literally, like I was kind of envisioning that 350 to be somewhere around, you know, close to October with nationals.
Yeah.
And now I've hit it, you know, 11, 12 weeks out. So it's like, fuck, all right, let's go.
Three
What's next? Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So that is something that, you know, I've kind of said a few times, like, why just heat it up when you're getting into a competition prep? Like, if you're going year round, you know, obviously not sending it year round in terms of like high RPEs or something, but like actually focusing on training and getting stronger like you were kind of within a peak, then you're just going to be able to, you know, express that more when you are in a peak.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said before, like having those kind of targets in training to help drive that motivation when you're not in like that classic 4 or 6 weeks out, like setting targets with that block that you're running. So, you know, you just start a 4, 5, 6 week block, and at the end of it, you know, you've got this number in the head that, you know, I want to double this or triple this or all that. I think that's really powerful because it's going to give you some motivation for those blocks. So each week you're striving towards that. I think that's really important.
Yeah, especially like you just doubled your fucking combat squat.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't hard.
No.
It was good.
Yeah.
So you go in now and you're like, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, what can I do for singles now?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I know I've just doubled my single in comp, so now the singles in the end of comp prep they're getting exciting. I've got these numbers in my head already, you know. So yeah, it's good.
I guess talking about numbers too and like visualization.
Yep.
You know, what do you do in terms of, you know, getting yourself ready for competition or for training in general?
Music's a big one for me. Like with music, it's not so much like stuff that gets me fired up or angry. It's more just like songs that remind me of a moment or like, you know, moments in my sporting career. Like for example, like there's a song that I used to run out to in volleyball, like in high school. So like that's a big song that I'll play in training because it reminds me of like running out to the court.
Play volleyball.
In volleyball, yeah. A couple of years. Stuff like that. Because it kind of like ignites that kind of inner competitive spirit in me and gets me excited. It reminds me of like these nostalgic moments, and that gets me in a good mood and a good headspace. Closer to comp, like I watch a lot of UFC, a lot of fighting.
Yeah, you said that.
More so, like I think I just appreciate that these moments these fighters go through. You know, they've just done like a 12, 16 week fight camp, put their body through fucking shit, and they're having this big moment where they're walking out to an arena to bloody throw hands with someone. Crowds bloody going crazy. I watch that and I can visualize that and relate that to stepping out onto a powerlifting platform for the open squat, you know.
Yeah.
And that it just gets me in like that excited, competitive mood. So when I watch these things, it's just gonna give me some chills, give me some tingles, and then I kind of get excited for the next training session I have. Stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah,
I think like a big thing is just taking it serious, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to meme or say like, you know, it's cringy when people post like, oh, I'm going to war, I'm fucking doing this, when it's just powerlifting and we are literally just picking up weights.
Yeah.
But if that's what you need to do to you know, go to that next level and, you know, find that sort of motivation and arousal, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Like fucking if you want to treat yourself like you're going to war, like and you're stepping in the arena like a fighter against another person, then that's completely fine.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what gets you going and that's what makes you, you know, lift the most weight that you possibly can, then fucking go for it. Use whatever you need to get there.
Yeah. I just appreciate, like I said, like it's that moment for that fighter, and then I'm gonna have that same moment when I'm going to the platform for nationals. You know what I mean? So I can just visualize those moments and what that feels like for them, and also what it's gonna feel like for me when I'm at that moment for my training. So that definitely fires me up. I try not to like obviously like rely on that or overstimulate that too many times throughout the week. I find like you can burn out, you can ruin those moments with these kind of new like songs and videos that you kind of watch. So I find like I'll just let myself calm down and not watch these things too many times, mainly just, you know, as comp's getting closer or like as I'm heading into like big sessions, because otherwise you can get to these moments in training and you're just not get as pumped up.
You're mentally burnt out because you got aroused at fucking 10 o'clock at night before you went to training.
And didn't sleep.
and didn't sleep, So I'm the same too, like, you know, I'm big on music, I said that heaps of times, and just like something that will just like, you know, gives me like those goosebumps and that like fucking, that feel like I can literally run through a wall right now based on like this music that's going through my head. Usually lyrics are big for me. And then like I listen to and watch like a lot of motivational things and other athletes, like high level athletes in different sports. Yeah, Kobe a lot.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor and his confidence.
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff. The way that they he talks. Yeah. Just like the confidence that he has. And just shit like that. But I'm the same. Like I can't do it too frequently. If I do it too frequently, I die and just crash and burn out.
Yeah. I found that last year heading to nationals, when I was gearing up for that 346 deadlift record, like I found I was pumping myself too much for too long in training throughout the week. Like I'd be driving like home at night from work, put a song on, all of a sudden I'm visualizing myself looking at this deadlift record, and then it gets to that moment on the actual comp day, and I'm just zapped. I've just gone through that too many times in my head, and it's at the actual moment now where I'm actually not even excited. So you definitely have to control and find out what works for you.
I think a big thing, like without actually, like we've never spoken about it before, but like keeping something to yourself sometimes as well. Like you let kind of everyone know that that's what you wanted to do. And we wrote it on the fucking
right on the whiteboard.
We're pointing at it every session for you, you know, to fire you up. Like, so you'd move shit, but it's like maybe that wasn't a good thing. Like maybe that pushed you too far too frequently.
It was great for training. I just got a terrible thing about it. It was great in training. Like, because every session I was ready and raring to go. Yeah. But it ruined it for that moment. So you definitely have to control how much you're geeing yourself up in those weeks leading to a competition. Yeah. Save it. Save that fire up. Save those songs, those videos for when it really matters.
Yeah, and I think like that a big thing there is like keep holding those numbers close. If you've got numbers in your head, and just keeping them to yourself. So because then, if everyone else knows what you're going for, it makes it a bit harder because then you feel like there's pressure.
There's more pressure. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I went to that heap of pressure.
Yeah, whereas like if we're just putting pressure on ourselves, sometimes that's just a little bit easier to kind of deal with, I suppose.
Yeah, and then that's when the tears come when you miss.
We just don't miss.
Yeah, true.
What else is there that you go through?
That's pretty much it. Visualization wise, like I said, like picking top songs, like for top sets. That's a big thing. That I get a little short term kind of hit out for a release of adrenaline and pump up. So like throughout the week, if a song puts me in a good mood and gets me like fired up, I'll save that for like a big set later in the week.
Yeah. We spoke about that too. Like I do that like on a Thursday night. Like I'll sit there before. So I'm not doing it earlier. I do it like before because I know like Friday's like my heaviest squat day. That's the day that I come in and I'm like, okay, let's go. And on a Thursday night I sit there and I'll go through and I find the song that I want to hit for that single. Yeah. The one on that week. And if I can't find it, I just resort back to the
something that works. Yeah.
But
can't be touched.
Yeah, can't be touched. That's always. Yeah. I'll sit there and I'll go through and it can nearly take me an hour sometimes, and then I like finally hit something. I'm like,
that's it.
That's
the one.
That's happening tomorrow.
That's and then you don't play it again.
And that don't play it again. Don't listen to that song again because that gets me hyped, too hyped in a situation where I don't want to be hyped.
Yeah, which goes back to what we were saying before. Yeah, you get overhyped and then it comes to the moment you're just too tired.
Yeah, 100%. And you'll be fried by the time you actually get to attempt to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it, eh? We can probably wrap up that first episode there.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then I guess, like I said, it's okay to treat this sport seriously and treat yourself like an actual athlete. Yeah. A lot of people don't. I think that's why, we as a country, as Australia, haven't really put together like a phenomenal team in a few years. Yeah. But we're really starting to, get out there now. Yeah. We have some very strong athletes coming through. Yeah. And I think like the more people or these young guys and females that are coming through, if they start to honestly, treat themselves like they're athletes, like do the little things, like turn every single rock, make sure you're coming into sessions fully hydrated, your nutrition's based around your training, you're fueled for your training, you're getting adequate sleep, you're doing all these little things, and then also being able to push yourself intently through every single session. Yeah. We're going to produce some phenomenal athletes. Yeah.
definitely taking it serious. I mean, obviously it's a hobby for a lot of us, but it doesn't mean we can't treat it like professional sport.
Yeah, exactly right. Like we should honestly be treating it like we're professionals now. Like there's so much time and money into it.
Yeah, exactly. The time and the money, like, it's not worth it unless you freaking care and you're putting in every session. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
We're just devoting so much to this sport, so you may as well take it serious.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's no harm in taking it serious. Like, people shy away from the serious aspect of the sport because, you know, at the end of the day, it is kind of like a hobby. But so was football here back in the day. Like, the guys just used to run out on the field like with their mates, and just so they could slam a few tinnies after a game. That's all they did it for. And like, that's where kind of powerlifting is at right now. Like, we're at a point now where there's actually money getting involved. Like, it's, you know, the future of the sport. If we could look forward 10 years from now, like, it's gonna be a full-time job for a lot of people. They're gonna be professional athletes that are just lifting barbells.
Well, you see that with like USAPL right now with the Pro Series and the Pro cards and stuff.
Sheffield.
Sheffield. Yeah, it's definitely heading that way.
Yeah, so I think if we can start now, and these young guys and females again can, you know, start to take this sport more serious, like, there's gonna be some good things coming in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
But I guess we'll wrap up there. That's a good first episode.
Yeah, sweet. So yeah, stay tuned. More episodes to come, and we'll get some more athletes on and
see what else everyone else does to get themselves in the zone.
Yeah, sweet.